It is Thursday, July 29th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy who's willing to trade 2 Ledeckis for 1 Dressel, J.P. Shadrick.
Welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. I have not been watching the Olympics, but I know who has. Welcome in. It is the 2021 Training Camp Underway edition. And yes, we are on your FM dial, 92.5 FM, and on 1010 AM as well here in Jacksonville. We're here for 2 hours this afternoon and into the evening. At 5 o'clock, another hour of Jaguars Happy Hour commences, and that will go over the entire Jaguars radio network, our first network program of the 2021 season. Coming up in this program today, it's busy. Training camp is underway. We'll recap the first 2 days with the best of sound from the first 2 days of camp on the Dreamfinders Homes Practice Complex. The fans were out today for the first time, and a select few got to see Trevor Lawrence for the first time on the practice field. What a day he had today. We'll hear from James Robinson and Josh Allen from Media Day earlier this week on Tuesday. And then NFL media analyst Bucky Brooks scheduled to join us at 4:30. He is at Dallas Cowboys camp in Oxnard, California. And he should be here at Jaguars camp later next week going into the scrimmage. That's next weekend, but he'll be here in person then, but he'll join us on the program over the web a little bit later today. No Jeff Lageman this week. He'll be back with us again next week, but what a day it was at the Dreamfinders Homes Practice Complex. What a hot day it was for the second day in a row. A little hotter today than yesterday. Well, they started it yesterday with about 83-degree temperatures, high humidity, and the first day out in helmets only, no pads for the first 5 practices of training camp. Today, the same thing, but fans were allowed for the first time. The head coach, Urban Meyer, was each day the first person on the field from the football side of the organization. And he made a big trek around, at least yesterday, all the way around all 3 practice fields on his own, seemingly getting his head ready to go for his first NFL training camp practice and setting the tone, if you will, for the organization. Here we go. It's time, and it's ready, and everybody's fired up and ready to go. Yesterday, the quarterbacks got their first action of training camp. Everybody did, of course, but Gardner Minshew had most of the work with the first team yesterday, Coach Meyer said, and then today it flipped around. So the folks in attendance today got to see Trevor Lawrence throwing dimes all over the field. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. We'll hear from Darrell Bevell, the Jaguars offensive coordinator. He spoke after practice today and get his thoughts on Trevor Lawrence so far. But Urban Meyer, after the first practice on Wednesday, was asked his final message to the team heading into 2021 training camp.
There's going to be a game on September 12th. There's going to be a lot of things happen, and it's all our responsibility and their responsibility. There's a big saying around here, 10 strong, and there's 10 units on a team, and own your unit. Don't worry, if I'm a linebacker unit, don't worry about the corner unit. Make sure we take care of the linebacker unit. So individual, unit, team, own it. That's you. Don't make excuses. And it seems like this whole world's full of excuses right now. No excuses. Take care of your bodies. Training camp's hard. We have a great sports performance model. Use it. If you don't use it, that's on you. So be a pro.
That's Urban Meyer after practice Wednesday, and we'll hear again from head coach Urban Meyer on Saturday after practice. That's the next scheduled time to hear from Urban. As we mentioned today, Trevor Lawrence was taking a lot of the reps with the ones, as Urban Meyer said in that press conference Tuesday, that they would kind of rotate through the days here in terms of the reps, at least early in practice. You know, and Darrell Bevell early in the offseason said that, we haven't named a starter yet. Well, if today is any indication, Trevor Lawrence might be ahead in whatever race that is. He really flashed today, certainly in 7-on-7, and some of the team drills showed that poise, made all the throws you want. A couple of deep balls down the field with Marvin Jones making a great catch near the pylon. That was on the fringe of the red zone, but a perfect throw from Lawrence. Another deep ball to Laviska Shenault, a time or two, another one to Jones. I mean, this guy was making seemingly every throw not even look that difficult. Well, let's remember it is the second day without pads, without a full speed and no contact by the defense. But it just does look different when he's out there and throwing it around like he did today. Will there be some bumps in the road in training camp? Most likely, especially when the speed ramps up a little bit next week. But for everybody out there today that has not been able to see any of this stuff in the offseason, this is the first glimpse of him in a Jaguars uniform for a lot of people. And it was a fantastic show today at the practice fields just outside TIAA Bank Field, and we're looking for a lot more of that. Now, there will be rotation still. There will be times where C.J. Beathard will probably get some reps with the ones. Jake Luton was activated from the COVID-19 list this afternoon officially, so you'll see some of him as camp moves along if you're coming out to some of the open practices. But today was a big step in the right direction for the number one overall pick. Let's hear from Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator. It's his first year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He spoke after practice this afternoon and was asked about the retention so far for Trevor Lawrence.
Looking good. Really pleased with where he's at in terms of his preparation and then being able to carry that over to the field. We'll continue to work each and every day.
How big was retention like going from OTAs to training camp? Were you pleased with the retention over the break that he showed?
I actually told the whole offensive skill guys yesterday that the retention's was really good for day one yesterday. When you take that big break, those 4 or 5 weeks, a lot of times those guys shut the books and they come back and they're dusting it off and they're a lot rusty. So our guys came back yesterday. It was actually a really sharp practice for the first day. So all of them have done a nice job. And even today, there was a couple things, but for the most part, they were pretty dialed in.
Everybody locked in. There was great attendance in the offseason program. Perfect attendance, according to head coach Urban Meyer. That really kind of set the tone there. And then coming back after the 4 or 5 week hiatus, ready to roll. That's seemingly the case for the Jacksonville Jaguars, certainly on the offensive side of the football. James Robinson was locked in last year in his rookie season, and he didn't have any of this time in the offseason program last year. He had to do it all virtually as an undrafted rookie, and then once training camp came around, he really shined, and he was the starting running back a year ago for the Jacksonville Jaguars and went over 1,000 yards rushing last season. We caught up with James Robinson Tuesday on Media Day to get his thoughts of the differences this year for him in training camp as opposed to a year ago.
Into it, and everything was virtual, so it was a lot of stuff going on my own and trying to figure out the plays and what stuff meant. But being here this year and actually having the coaches tell me what certain stuff mean and me getting it right away, it helps a lot more. And pretty sure almost everyone's here during OTA, so it's a big difference, and it's just great.
That's a big point that Urban Meyer was making a lot this offseason, the attendance, and everybody seems to be into it and ready to roll, whether it's to impress the staff or to get right as a team. I think there's a combination of both, but that's a good sign for this team moving ahead, right?
Yeah, it's a really great sign. It shows that everyone's willing to work, and we all got to learn the playbook somehow, so it was just great seeing everyone there and seeing everyone work.
How about yourself this year? You had a big season last year as a rookie. What do you need to prove this camp and in this season coming up?
I'm just proving to myself that I can be consistent, to the coaches that I can be more consistent like I was last year. And that's really just a big thing for me, and that's what I'm going to look forward to, and seeing if I got faster. So we'll see.
You think you got faster?
Yeah, I think I got faster, but game like is different. So we'll see. But I think I got pretty fast.
That's James Robinson. Earlier this week, Tuesday, the Jaguars held their internal media day, video board shoots, photo shoots, and the like. We had a chance to catch up with James then. And, that last bit there about getting faster, that was the one of the few things you could really say about his game last year he really didn't have. He didn't have that breakaway speed. His longest run last year was like 39 yards or something, 40 yards. He was a 4.5 yard a carry running back, and that's truly what he was. He didn't lose many yards. He would get back to the line of scrimmage. He would move forward a little bit, but between 3 to 10 yards, that's James Robinson last year. So as he said there, he's worked on it this offseason, maybe trying to get an extra step. And at least the first couple days with fresh legs, there were a couple of moments in practice yesterday, especially where James Robinson had a real nice burst through the middle of the defense. Again, there's no contact by the defense. They're not wearing pads yet. We'll see what happens in like 9-on-7 drills when it gets real next week. But it's a good start for James Robinson. And there are some additions to that running back room with James Robinson as well. Of course, Travis Etienne Jr. is here, the first-round running back out of Clemson. Speaking of burst and ability to hit home runs, he showed that a few times today in some of the drills. Carlos Hyde is in the backfield for the Jags as well, that big bruising 8th-year running back out of Ohio State who was here before. He's back again with his former college head coach, and a few other names in this running back room that can contribute, have contributed in the past, and Dario Gunbowale, Divino Zigbo. And they've had their moments in the sun here in Jacksonville, but those big three names we just talked about most likely will lead the way here. Nathan Cottrell now in his second season with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We heard from Darrell Bevell earlier. We'll hear from him now again. You know, it seems a lot of the work for the running backs early in camp has been in the passing game, at least in team 7-on-7 work. Well, I mean, remember, James Robinson, ran for 1,000 yards last year behind this offensive line against defenses that knew it was coming a lot of times, especially, if the passing game wasn't working that day. And then you add a guy like Etienne, who is the all-time ACC leading rusher, and Carlos Hyde, who's done it at a high level for a long time. They can run the ball, but pass catching is something that Darrell Bevell wants to see a little bit more of.
The thing that's important for us is all those guys can run the ball, right? And so there's some things that are harder at each position, and we want to practice the things that are hardest. And if we can practice the things that are hardest, then they will get better at them, and then those things become things that they're more comfortable with. So a lot of running backs, I was talking to James yesterday. I'm like, hey, how many catches do you have in college? And he's like, hey, we just ran power. They didn't hand me the ball or throw me the ball very much. And that's just what happens. And the more well-rounded you can make the players, the more successful our offense has a chance to be. And when you throw the ball, you got all the receivers running down and everybody's covered, to find the running backs, they can, we say, make you a lot of money by taking those checkdowns. I was in Green Bay many years ago. Amon Green was actually the leading receiver on the team as a running back. He had 60 catches that year. So we want those guys to have all that skill set, and we want to work on those hard things.
Time to work on those difficult things for running backs from time to time, and you're seeing a lot of that early in camp. And, we're excited, too. We're talking a lot of offense to start this show today. Well, we haven't seen a lot of offensive line work yet. They're doing work. They're out there, mind you, but the real work comes starting next Tuesday when the shoulder pads go on and the contact begins, and that's the same can be said for the defensive line as well. So good stuff there. Good to see Trevor Lawrence flinging it around. Gardner Minshew has some moments early in camp as well. The running backs are out in the passing game. The receiving crew has looked very good. DJ Chark, we'll hear from him a little bit later. Today has added that muscle and is learning how to use it on the practice field, and he's just sounds and looks like a really, really good player going into this training camp. I mean, he's motivated, of course. It's his contract year, going into his 4th year of his rookie contract. He has a Pro Bowl under his belt. We'll hear from DJ and what his thoughts are on this season and this preseason ahead. Coming up, plenty ahead. In fact, we'll hear from Shaquille Griffin. We'll flip it around to defense. He had plenty to say today. We'll hear from he and Urban Meyer on the vaccination process for the Jacksonville Jaguars and how it's going. We'll also hear from Josh Allen, Jaguars defensive end and linebacker. We caught up on Tuesday earlier this week. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. We're off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brand, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This vaccine thing that's going on, it's totally a personal choice. When it comes to me being vaccinated, I had long talks, with my parents, who has been vaccinated, and I do my research on it. I would never tell somebody what they should do, but like I said, at the end of the day, if you don't get vaccinated, we have to be smart as a team, and that's a discipline thing. What do you really want to get out of it? Do you really care enough to be able to go, all right, I won't do as much. I will always wear a mask around when I'm not out, and when I am, I'm going to continue to wear a mask. I'm going to be disciplined enough to be able to get to whatever we need to get to. Like I said, that's to the Super Bowl. So we just got to be the most disciplined team. So, that's all up to us.
Shaquill Griffin, Jaguars cornerback, added in free agency. He spoke after practice yesterday, and welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with you. Jeff Lageman out this week. He'll be back with us next week. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so, NFL media analyst Bucky Brooks will join us from Dallas Cowboys camp in Oxnard, California. We'll get the latest from there and what his schedule coming up could be, and maybe his reaction to what the Jags have done the first couple of days of training camp. That has been one of the big talking points this week. You heard Shaquill Griffin discuss there the vaccination numbers for the Jaguars. In fact, Urban Meyer said that they're over 80% vaccinations as of yesterday, at least. And of course, Meyer did not speak today, so no official update from the organization on the numbers there. But yesterday, Meyer was talking about his approach to the team. You can't make the players do it. It's collectively bargained, and there are some players that have not done it, of course, and there are probably some players that won't do it no matter what, and just go through all the other extra protocols to get that done. But for Urban Meyer, Jaguars head coach, the approach to the team is key.
When I got vaccinated, I didn't get vaccinated because someone told me to. I don't do that. I got vaccinated because I did a deep dive and educated myself. And the doctor that I've known for a long time said, get vaccinated. I'm taking the same approach to the players and making sure that we educate them, present, and ultimately it's their choice. But how do you make choices in life? You educate them and give them the truth. So I believe they should be vaccinated, but I'm not a doctor, but we've presented that to them several times.
That's head coach Urban Meyer earlier this week, and the presentations, I'm sure, will continue internally. And the league actually today put out some additional numbers of teams in the league. 19 clubs now have more than 90% of players vaccinated, which is an outstanding number, and it continues to ride. And then 7 clubs have more than 95% now. And 88% of players in the NFL have had at least one shot of a COVID-19 vaccine. Those numbers are dramatically higher than they were right before that memo went out about a week ago, leading into training camp, discussing all the fines and the forfeiture of games that are possible if an unvaccinated player begins an outbreak and causes all this to go down. So I think that was the NFL's idea behind that memo, and there's science behind it, and it's working so far, at least to increase the number of players vaccinated. And I'm sure it has worked for the Jacksonville Jaguars as part of that number as well. We heard from Shaq Griffin there. He is one of the new members in the secondary for the Jaguars. It's a lot of new back there, by the way. C.J. Henderson, who is on the COVID list currently, is the only starter that will return from last season. From what is the Jaguars Happy Hour projected starting secondary. It features 4 new faces this year. Shaq Griffin is one of those. Rayshawn Jenkins is another one of those. He was brought in free agency from the Chargers. He spoke with the media this afternoon, and, with all the new around here, there's a lot of new inside the building as well. New areas for athletic training. Sports performance is a huge part of Urban Meyer's approach to the players and helping them increase their value. Well, Rayshawn Jenkins has not seen much of anything like this before.
It's a real focal point. I've been other places, not saying that they were bad at it, but it just wasn't as emphasized as it is here. Here it's great, man. We got everything, at our hands, anything we need, just so we can kind of focus in and do what we need to do on the field. So hats off to Coach Urban putting a great team together for that.
That's Rayshawn Jenkins a little earlier today, right after practice at the Dreamfinders Homes practice complex. A lot of new up there, of course. A lot of new on the defensive line these days. And as we said before, it's tough to tell a lot on the defensive line now. They've won some on some of the team drills where a defensive end will get around a tackle and the speed will get there. But as Tony Baselli said on the practice field today, the little fast guys can get around you when there's nothing to hit on them. If they put pads on, there's a little more surface area to make contact. We'll see a little more from the defensive line, of course, in about a week or so, starting Tuesday, in fact, when the pads go on for the first time. One of those guys that we'd love to see a lot from this year is Josh Allen, the Jaguars defensive end and linebacker. Maybe a change in scheme this year. He might have a number of different responsibilities for this defense. We caught up Tuesday after the internal media day at TIAA Bank Field. He's coming off a knee injury a year ago, and Josh Allen is fired up and ready for this season.
You love media day, though. This is the fun part, right? Before it really gets real.
It's just fun because there's not another day like this. After this day, we in it, you know what I mean? And we're going to be burning our blood, sweat, and tears, and showing all these people what we worked hard for. So, plus, I'm not going to look any better than I am today. So, we might as well knock it out right now.
How different is Josh Allen, the football player, this training camp than Josh Allen, the football player, last?
It's more mental than physical. I feel like mentally I'm more locked in. I'm more focused on what I need to do and what I can do to help this team and accomplish big things for myself and just for everybody around me. So I'm excited about this year. I'm excited to show people how hard I worked this all season, even in camp before. So, it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be a different outcome, and I'm going to work my butt off to it. So.
We've talked about this before. There's a lot of new faces on this defense, new scheme, new coordinator, new defensive line. I mean, everything's new. Mm-hmm. How does that get put together in one cohesive unit? It has started in the offseason program. How do you guys continue that in training camp in the preseason?
Just playing. I feel like we already had this connection before, and now that everybody's familiar with each other, we had a month off, had our time off in off season to be with our families, to get ourselves right, and now we're back in the swing of things. And so we all know each other, and now we just have to make plays for each other. That's the biggest way you're going to get to know the person right next to you is when you make plays. So we're hoping to do a lot of that, and we're hoping to be a real talented, great unit.
That's Josh Allen, Jaguars defensive end and linebacker. We caught up on Tuesday at Media Day here at TIAA Bank Field, and good to have him back healthy and out there. He's been out there the first couple of days of training camp, missed, 8 games a year ago because of that knee injury. But Josh Allen hoping to get back to that Pro Bowl form here in 2021 and beyond. Plenty ahead. We'll come back in just a moment. A little later, it'll be Bucky Brooks, NFL media analyst, joining us here on the program. We're 2 hours today. So at 5 o'clock, network coverage takes over for another hour of Jaguars Happy Hour. This is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond. Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit DreamfindersHomes.com.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville Sports Talk for Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with you, and Jeff Lageman will be back with us next week. And from time to time this fall, we might have Tony Baselli. This is not one of those times, though. We'll get him another time a little bit later on in the preseason and regular season. Bucky Brooks coming up in just a few moments, NFL media analyst. You can check out the official Jaguars Podcast Network, a free subscription on Apple, iTunes, Spotify. We'll have these shows archived on there after the show today. Jaguars reporters tomorrow on the schedule. The Huddle Up Pod from John Oehser and the Huddle Up Pod with Bucky Brooks. That's starting on Wednesday in a couple weeks in the afternoon. My apologies. And then the Ozone Podcast with John Osher. Give us those 5-star ratings on the official Jaguars Podcast Network. And we are inside a week from the Hella Mega Tour. Saturday, July 31st at TIAA Bank Field. It's Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer, plus the Interrupters. Tickets at Ticketmaster or HellaMegaTour.com. A lot of music around TIAA Bank Field these days because at the south end, at Daly's Place, the schedule is certainly cranking up for the fall. Coming up very soon, August 5th, it's Miranda Lambert. Gunpowder and Lead, I think, is one of her hits. Yeah, it is. Blackberry Smoke with the Allman Betts Band, that's August 10th. Lady A, August 20th. And then the Bethel Music Tour, Chris Tomlin and Carrie Job, September 3rd. And then October and beyond, it's like 5 or 6 shows a week at one point. There's a lot coming up, including Santana and Alice Cooper. Tickets at DailysPlace.com. By the way, fans are out for the first time today at the Jaguars training camp practice, and they're sold out, by the way. You had to pre-register. There's 3 one more, 2 more this week. Season ticket members only tomorrow, and then Saturday. And then 3 at the end of next week, including the in-stadium scrimmage on Sunday. But today it was hot, and there was a lot of people out there. If you're watching Jaguars.com, you see the full camp schedule, including the open practices. 6th, 7th, and 8th are the open practices next week, including that scrimmage. But it's warm. Well, that might not be as warm out there for long for fans if you support the First Downtown Jacksonville Football Performance Center initiative. That is in the process of being worked on as we speak. We've all kind of seen the renderings. If you haven't, go to firstdowntownjacks.com, 1stdowntownjacks.com. You can show your support there and find out ways to get involved with the process. The Football Performance Center would include covered stands for training camp practices and other events on those practice fields just outside of TIAA Bank Field, fan amenities, concession stands, restrooms, merchandise stands, all air-conditioned underneath. That's all in the process of being worked on now. Get more information, firstdowntownjacks.com, on the Football Performance Center for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're back in a moment with Bucky Brooks, NFL media analyst, former Jaguar. He played for a number of teams, of course. You know him. You love him from the Huddle Up podcast throughout the offseason. He'll join us from Oxnard, California, and it's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is presented in part by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle. Next Grill, everyone's invited. And Adecco. Visit AdeccoUSA.com.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Hi, this is Dr. Patrick Basil of Basil Plastic Surgery and Wellness. I'm a proud veteran of the U.S. Navy, and during my active duty time, I had the amazing privilege to serve our country and those who were wounded in combat. Helping my patients return to a normal life, I was able to provide an unparalleled level of care, which I've carried over to my own private practice today. As the official plastic surgeon of the Jaguars, I would like to wish the Jags best of luck and invite you to visit us at patrickbasilmd.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone, so we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America, because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
The station that the Jaguars listen to, 1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman out today. For the first time, we are on 92.5 FM and 1010 AM here in Jacksonville. We'll be each Thursday on these airwaves throughout football season. Glad you're along with us today. Coming up in the second hour, it's the network hour at 5 o'clock, another hour of Jaguars Happy Hour. We'll hear from John Ogier. We'll hear from Ashlyn Sullivan after the first couple of days of camp, get their thoughts, and you'll also hear from Myles Jack, Jaguars linebacker, who we caught up with earlier this week, and get his thoughts on 1-15 record and how that might motivate some guys to improve things around here. That's all coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, about 20 minutes or so from right now. Let's go to Oxnard, California, and welcome in our good friend and NFL media analyst, Bucky Brooks. Bucky, good afternoon. How is Oxnard?
Oxnard is always great. Whenever you're out here, it's nice. The weather's nice, not too hot. Loving it, JP. You should come out here.
Well, I mean, the Jaguars do play the Cowboys in the preseason, in preseason week 3. Unfortunately, there is not there's not going to be a week of practices before that. That would be something special. Now, that would be another West Coast trip. I don't think that would fly with Urban Meyer, but it wouldn't be a bad thing. They've been doing that for a long time, right, Buck?
I mean, look, it would always be good. Like, I think you certainly understand heat and humidity and how it can negatively impact you. So if you didn't have that, imagine how productive you could be. Kind of want you to have a little of that in your life.
Well, see, I remember I was a kid. I was like 10, and they practiced. The Cowboys were at St. Edwards in Austin. And then, they were winning all the Super Bowls back. This is the early 90s, Buck. And then there was some year, like, I guess the players had something in the dorm or something was going on in the dorms, and they got kicked out and they went somewhere else. They ended up in California a few years after that. Anyway, the Jaguars are here in Jacksonville, and training camp has started. And I'm sure you've followed some of the tweets and the reporting out of the first couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
As expected, Buck, number 16 is pretty good so far. I'll say that.
Oh, I mean, I think he's everything that we've always talked about as a position. Tall, prototypical quarterback, big-time arm talent, has all the requisite traits that you look for. And now you begin to see it play out. And I think anytime you have a quarterback like that, what you're looking for the first couple of days, does he check off all the boxes? And as you're telling me, as I'm reading online, as everyone around the program is telling me, he absolutely checks off the boxes in a major way. And I think the excitement is building inside the building because you know you have a chance. Because when you have a big-time quarterback, it gives you a chance, and then you can begin to build out a team with that big quarterback in mind.
He made some throws today, Bucky, that, if if we seen some past quarterbacks around here make a spot-on throw in the front of the left pylon at about the 3-yard line from about the 40 going in, he hits it just right on the number. I mean, it's unbelievable. But he makes the hard. It's not even that, I guess, not that hard of a throw, but it hasn't really been made around here before. But I think we're going to see a lot of throws that, okay, this is really what an NFL caliber quarterback should look like, and a high-level NFL caliber quarterback should look like. He did that a few times today. A couple of deep balls, one to Chenault, a couple to Marvin Jones, and then in traffic a couple of times over the middle through guys. I mean, but I don't think that's abnormal for him, Bucky. Those are going to be the normal practice days for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Seeing is a difference in talent level. You're seeing an A-level talent versus B's and C's that have been managed the position, but you're not the only one that's paying attention. Just know, JP, everyone on that team also is keenly aware of the difference in talent level. And so what happens when you have a franchise quarterback, it gives you hope. It gives you a belief that you may not have had before. Well, the excitement that I'm hearing from you is the same excitement that is buzzing in the locker room. And that changes the equation when you run onto the field, because now it's about, hey, we have a dude. We just need to figure out different opportunities to give our guy a chance to put his stamp on the game.
Helps when you have playmakers around a guy like that, and one of the wide receivers that could be a playmaker again this year, it's DJ Chark Jr., who is in his 4th season, the final season of his rookie contract. He was challenged, Bucky, by head coach Urban Meyer early in this offseason to play bigger. He didn't play up to his size last year, and they challenged him to get in the weight room. He did that. He added a bunch of muscle, and as DJ Chark said, we'll hear from him now, he can feel a difference a couple of days into camp.
I worked on speed a lot. I feel the speed when I'm coming off the ball. That's something that Coach Sanjay, Coach Meyer really, buckled down on. But I feel it coming off the ball, getting in and out of breaks, just moving people around. It's something good to add to my game as well as being shifty.
You got DJ Chark, of course. You've got, Laviska Shenault, who we talked about. Those are a couple of key weapons. Marvin Jones has really flashed a few times early in camp, which is really not a surprise. He's in his 9th year in the NFL. He's done it at a high level the last couple of years, Bucky. But if they're continue to grow together. They all went to Clemson together, by the way, a couple of weeks ago and worked on things and routes and timing and all that. It's the start of something. You're seeing the early growth of something that could grow into something really special here.
I think you do have an opportunity to see something special there. The chemistry and the connectivity is huge. We can talk about talent, but it's being on the stage with the quarterback. And so them spending time together outside the facility, going and getting some work in the summer workouts to make sure they're on the same page, beginning to have that chemistry continuity kind of come through on the practice field, that is huge because the game is so instinctive. It's about really being on the same page. You want to be able to just kind of know where my players are going to be. And as they continue to grow together, you'll begin to see plays just kind of happen what appears to be out of the air just because they know they can finish each other's sentences. And I even saw an Instagram post with Trevor and those guys hanging out. You feel like there's really a bond between this crew. That bodes well for this team going forward.
Let's come back in a moment. We'll get on the defensive side, and we'll get the Dak Prescott scouting report from Bucky Brooks. He's at Dallas Cowboys camp in Oxnard, California. Plenty more ahead. It is the first of 2 hours of Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's handmade vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Dempsey and Fat Tony. Jaguars Today. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, and Jaguars Game Day broadcasts are presented by ViStar Credit Union. JP Shadrick with Bucky Brooks, NFL media analyst. Jeff Lageman out this week. Bucky, you're in Oxnard, California. We're watching on Jaguars.com, and I got a tweet just a moment ago during the break that they thought you were on the moon somewhere with that the moon landing craft behind you with the white thing. Where are you right now?
Right. Well, JP, I'm in a tent right now with all the reporters around, and I didn't think that you would want the star behind me. I didn't think you wanted all Cowboys gear and swag and all that other stuff. So I tried to go to a place that was a little more neutral. So Mike from Jacksonville, I apologize that my background and setting isn't up to standard, but I will work on that. I will be +2 the next time we get together.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with the star? It looks like a nice enough place, I guess. I mean,
it is a nice enough place, but I didn't think that we would want that logo and some of the sponsorship and some of the branding that's kind of sitting over there. So I decided that I would go to the moon. And
there you go.
Put it in,
and
have a little fun and have a conversation.
And the reporters around you, I'm sure, love it as well. Having you in their room right there, that's probably a good idea for them. Let's talk a little defense, Bucky. We heard from Shaq Griffin earlier this week. We heard from Rayshon Jenkins. I had a chance to catch up with Josh Allen earlier this week. So it's a mix. There's some key players back, of course. Allen, Myles Jack, Joe Schobert's here. You got C.J. Henderson's who on the COVID list right now, but the rest of the secondary is new. We've talked through this a lot. It's kind of tough right now to tell because Urban Meyer said they're not even playing press coverage right now because of the offseason fine situation they got. The Jags got popped $200,000. Urban Meyer himself $100,000, and they lost 2 OTA practices next year because of contact in the offseason program in a non-contact period. Well, Urban Meyer, Bucky, said that it came down to really 8 plays where the defense was going a little maybe too much and contesting some passes, and he maybe didn't agree with about half of them, but the rule's the rule, and it's a learning process for him. But I don't know if you're going to tell a lot right now from the defense until they can put the pads on and take off those restrictions.
Well, I think there are a couple of things to look for very, very early in camp. One, you want to look and see the energy and effort. Are they running to the ball? Does it look like they're playing with the kind of effort and urgency that Urban has been talking about the entire offseason? Secondly, you want to check out the communication. Are you seeing these mental errors and busts due to a lack of communication where guys aren't on the same page when it comes to the adjustments and those things? And then finally, you want to see the competitiveness. Yes, the fines may have been issued because of the contact and those things, but I think if you're Urban Meyer and the Jaguars, I think you're on the side of them being maybe too competitive, too feisty, as opposed to having to rev them up. I think you live with those things because you always talk about wanting to go to the line but not going over it. Well, the first thing you got to do is get them to the line with that competitiveness, and then you can dial it back.
It's better to say whoa than giddy up. That's what they say down in Texas, at least.
Absolutely.
Sure. Right. So, I'm excited to see. I'm excited. Or at Oxnard, wherever. I'm excited to see this defensive line when they put the pads on. We saw a few times today, Bucky, where a defensive end, a smaller guy, would get around the tackle. He's so fast and all that. Well, there's nothing for the tackle to grab onto. Well, they don't hold, but block, let's say. Without pads on. So you're seeing a lot of that early. Not that there's contact on the quarterback or any of that stuff. That's not ever going to happen. But I think that'll even out once pads go on. The trenches really start then, and that starts on Tuesday.
I think what you want to see up front, you really can't tell what you have up front until you put the pads on. And so for the big guys, you can't put your hands on people. You can't move people off the ball. And so the pads and the full contact drills, those things really, really matter. For the Jags, it's about establishing the physical presence, being able to establish the running game. We understand how important the running game is going to be to that offense. And so while we sat here and waxed poetic about Trevor Lawrence, the first segment, it is about the running game, being able to control it, being able to run it when the other team knows it. The only way you can assess those things is pass. And then from a defensive standpoint, remember the run game struggles, not being able to stop the run, physicality, toughness, gap fit. Those are things that we have to see when they get back on pads next week.
Time now for the injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good, and a few names on the active non-football injury list. Taven Bryan, defensive tackle, linebacker Dylan Moses, the undrafted rookie out of Alabama, the kicker Aldrick Rosas, and wide receiver Jamal Agnew are all on the active non-football injury list. No reasoning behind that announced from Urban Meyer. And the Jaguars have removed cornerback Luke Barku from the COVID-19 reserve list. He was on the practice field today. C.J. Henderson is remaining on that list still. He started camp there. Linebacker Leon Jacobs is on the active, physically unable to perform list at the moment. He's off to the side in training camp each day. There's our injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. I would guess, kind of getting the idea of how Urban goes about his business, Bucky, that we might not get a lot of detail on injuries until, maybe Wednesday of week 1 of the regular season when they have to put a status on guys.
I could absolutely agree with that. There's no need to disclose anything until you absolutely have to. Just from a competitive standpoint, a competitive edge, you don't want to give the opponent more information than needed. And so I would anticipate us getting a lot of information on the injuries and the severity. So, training camp, you're going to have guys that are dealing with bumps and bruises. What you're hoping for, none of the injuries are serious. The guys will be able to come back, get some work in the preseason, and hit the ground running in week 1 of the regular season.
Bucky Brooks with us on Jaguars Happy Hour. You're at Oxnard, California, just up the road from where you are, and you're watching the Dallas Cowboys. What? Give us a little scouting report. What are you seeing out of the Cowboys a day or two in? Because we see them week 3 of the preseason.
Well, I mean, yeah, look, this is a team that is really coming on. Offensively, they have everything that you look for. Dak Prescott has been terrific. He's been on point. Wide receiver core can give you problems because those guys are interchangeable parts. The offensive line being back. Offensively, they look like the team that could put 30 burgers on everybody. Defensively, they're still a work in progress, but the communication has been better. More athletes on the field, so you're seeing them hustle and chase and slide to the ball. And so when you think about the prospect of these guys playing that finale, that preseason finale, yeah, it should be a very entertaining and competitive game as you're getting ready for the regular season.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know if we really talked through this yet. The strategy now does preseason week 3 become the old week 4 where everybody that's left just plays? I mean, because they're cutting down rosters differently this year. What's your approach if you're Coach Bucky Brooks to preseason week 3, the final game?
Well, my approach is going to be to make sure I get my guys ready to play. I would think the first game is a little bit of a minor dress rehearsal. The second game is when you'll see the starters really play. That third game, I don't know if you'll see many of the A-plus players playing, but you'll see a lot of the competitive battles where you're trying to determine who makes the roster. Regardless, I think week 3 will be important because you want to see the execution at a high level, because if these guys are having to play, and if they're having to play in an emergency role, can they keep the train on the track? That's what you want to see. So I expect it to be a very, very competitive game in week 3, even though it's the finale, and the team is pretty much already set in concrete.
Yeah, that's a Sunday afternoon game, 1 o'clock kickoff at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, and then the next weekend is off for everybody in the NFL. A little different scheduling this year with the 17th game added. Bucky, when are you here in Jacksonville? I know we're a couple weeks away from the Huddle Up show starting. Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks begins a couple weeks from now on Wednesdays. When are you coming to Jacksonville?
JP, your dreams come true. I'm coming to town next weekend. I'm excited. I'm going to go see the scrimmage. I got all kinds of stuff lined up to go see Teal. Teal is primary. So next weekend it starts, and I'll be making the coast-to-coast trek every week. See what's going on. Every week. I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, that's what we're talking about early. Early. Don't want to overcommit, but early. That's what the plan is.
That's very good. Bucky, really thank you for your time on such short notice today. Appreciate you. Enjoy the Cowboys, and we will see you very soon down the line, man. Appreciate you.
For sure. See you, JP.
All right, Bucky Brooks out of here, the NFL media analyst, and you'll see him on preseason television week 1 against the Browns. You'll see him on the scrimmage broadcast coming up, what is that, next Sunday? That's right around the corner as well. So that's good to have Bucky always, and he's our regular co-host on Wednesdays, and that is the old Wednesday Jaguars Happy Hour that airs on Jaguars.com and the Jag social channels. Will now be called Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, and that's myself, John Ozier, and Bucky each Wednesday during the regular season, or close to, right at the end of the preseason, going into the regular season. Coming up today, another hour of Jaguars Happy Hour. No Jeff Lageman this week. He'll join us again next week. We'll hear from Ashlyn Sullivan coming up in just a little bit and get her thoughts on what's going on the first couple of days of training camp. John Ozier will give us a breakdown of what he saw on the practice field the first 2 days as well. We'll hear from Myles Jack earlier in the week, Jaguars linebacker, now going into year number 6, believe it or not. Yes, Myles Jack in his second contract already. What he thought of that 1-15 record a year ago and how it motivates him moving forward. That's all coming up in the second hour when network coverage begins. Our thanks to everybody involved with today's program. Our thanks to Bucky Brooks for joining us from Oxnard, California, and for our entire crew. I'm JP Shadrick. Coming up, another hour of Jaguars Happy Hour as the Jaguars continue 2021 training camp. Tomorrow morning, another practice open to the public, and then Saturday, yes, another practice, and then Sunday is off for the Jaguars. They'll have 3 more open practices to the public next week, late in the week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Coming up another hour, Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Former Jaguar Jeff Lageman and JP Shadrick provide the latest Jaguars news and what's happening around the NFL. Jaguars Happy Hour begins right now.
Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour for the first time in the 2021 season on the Jaguars Radio Network. JP Shadrick along with you. No Jeff Lageman this week. He'll be back in the weeks ahead for you. We've got plenty on the show here tonight. We'll hear from head coach Urban Meyer, his final message to the team heading into training camp, what the fine situation was for the Jaguars and for his wallet in the offseason. A little too much contact, but that's okay. Kind of learning the ropes in the NFL. Darrell Bevell, the Jaguars offensive coordinator, discussing the first couple days of work for Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars quarterback. DJ Chark a little later. We'll hear from Myles Jack, Jaguars linebacker. A lot to come on the program. We'll be here until 6 o'clock. Urban Meyer, Jaguars head coach, entering his first training camp in the NFL. And he went out on the practice field yesterday, the first day. He was the first one out there from the football side, coach or player. And he took a long, lonesome walk all the way around all three practice fields, seemingly to get his head straight going into his first NFL training camp. Not that he needs his head straight already going in, just to get in the right frame of mind. Well, he did that with his team the day before on reporting day, the final message for his team before taking the field.
There's going to be a game on September 12th. There's going to be a lot of things happen, and it's all our responsibility and their responsibility. There's a big saying around here, 10 strong, and there's 10 units on a team, and own your unit. Don't worry, if I'm a linebacker unit, don't worry about the corner unit. Make sure we take care of the linebacker unit. So individual, unit, team, own it. That's you. Don't make excuses. And it seems like this whole world's full of excuses right now. No excuses. Take care of your bodies. Training camp's hard. We have a great sports performance model. Use it. If you don't use it, that's on you. So be a pro.
Be a pro. That was the final words for head coach Urban Meyer. That was after practice Tuesday, just outside the Dreamfinders Homes practice complex outside TIAA Bank Field. Well, as this offseason has gone along, Meyer has really kind of worked to try to figure out the intricacies of the NFL. He did a lot of research coming in before he accepted the job here to try to figure out how business was done on a day-to-day basis, but there have been a few situations where things have not quite gone right immediately. One of those was the offseason program, where at the end of the offseason program, well, there's a big fine coming to the Jacksonville Jaguars. $200,000 for the Jaguars organization, $100,000 for Urban Meyer, and 2 lost OTA practices next year, 2022, for contact during a non-contact period. Well, Urban Meyer said, well, it was a learning process, of course, and a valuable lesson, but he didn't really agree with all of them. He said it came down really to 8 days of practice where the defense went a little too hard for the football. Urban Meyer discussing the fine earlier this week.
You know, I want to know what was it? I actually thought we did a heck of a job. We gave them every third day off. We had full attendance, so we had a little different, very proud of our guys. They love the sports performance model, and they sent us 8 plays. And the 8 plays were defenders going after a ball. I want to say 3 times they're, incidental contact. The other times were. So the adjustments we made, no press coverage right now. It was all off. And the deep really that's where most of the stuff was.
That's Urban Meyer earlier this week, and that is true. They are not playing any press coverage in the first couple of days, and really the first 5 days of training camp until the pads go on. And then Urban Meyer said, like that, at the snap of a finger, that will change, and the intensity should ramp up starting next Tuesday when the pads go on for the first time. Trevor Lawrence on the field today. Yesterday in day one, Gardner Minshew took the majority of the first-team reps. Urban Meyer said after practice that they will rotate that as the camp days move along. Today, in front of fans for the first time, Trevor Lawrence took the majority of the number one snaps, and he put on a show today in 7-on-7 and in teamwork. He hit Marvin Jones a couple of times on some deep throws that were just right on the money. He hit Laviska Shenault another time. Backs out of the backfield are making plays. It was a really, really nice display from Trevor Lawrence today, but it seems just like business as usual for number 16, the rookie out of Clemson, the number 1 overall pick. After practice, Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, met the media, and he certainly likes what he sees from his signal caller so far.
Looking good. Really pleased with where he's at in terms of his preparation, and then being able to carry that over to the field. We'll continue to work each and every day.
How big was retention like going from OTAs to training camp? Were you pleased with the retention over the break that he showed?
I actually told the whole offensive skill guys yesterday that the retention's was really good for day one yesterday. When you take that big break, those 4 or 5 weeks, a lot of times those guys shut the books and they come back and they're dusting it off and they're a lot rusty. So our guys came back yesterday. It was actually a really sharp practice for the first day. So all of them have done a nice job. And even today, there was a couple things, but for the most part, they were pretty dialed in.
That's Darrell Bevell, Jaguars offensive coordinator, this afternoon after the second Jaguars practice. On the defensive side, there's plenty of new around the Jaguars organization on that side of the ball, of course. New coordinator, and Joe Cullen comes from the Baltimore Ravens, where he's the defensive line coach. Formerly a defensive line coach for the Jaguars. His final year here was 2012. He's been in Baltimore since. And now his first opportunity as a coordinator, and a few old faces still around. Not old faces, but guys who've been around the organization. Josh Allen up front. Myles Jack, who you'll hear from coming up a little bit later at linebacker. C.J. Henderson is now in his second year at cornerback, though he didn't have a lot of time last season. There are a lot of new faces on defense. 4 of the 5 projected starters in the secondary are new to the organization this year. The interior of the defensive line that was so badly run over last season, well, most of that is new as well. So a lot of new to be seen on that side of the ball. The effort early in camp is there, but as you said, as we just heard, at least they are fairly restricted at this point on what they can do in a non-contact period, because they don't want to have to keep going to the hip and paying the NFL fines for those. It will come, though. When the pads go on Tuesday, the intensity should ramp up on defense that much more. Plenty ahead. We'll hear from Myles Jack a little bit later. John Oehser, Jaguars.com senior writer, scheduled to join us at the bottom of the hour. But coming up next, it's team reporter Ashlyn Sullivan giving us her thoughts on the first couple of days of training camp. And we're off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is presented in part by TIAA Bank. Created to serve, built to perform. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. All named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network for the first time in the 2021 season. You can also check out the official Jaguars Podcast Network, a free subscription on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify. We'll have this program archived tonight. Yes, we will. Jaguars reporters tomorrow. That's Friday. The Huddle Up podcast comes up in a couple of weeks with Bucky Brooks of NFL Media and the Ozone podcast. Once the season begins, give us that 5-star rating. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman is out tonight. Ashlyn Sullivan is in tonight. Team reporter, Jaguars.com. Welcome to the program. Appreciate your time, Ashlyn.
Thank you. It's been so long. I used to be here all the time, and then COVID took us away.
I know, right? And, times have changed a little bit, and we're now back in the building now, which is a good thing. It seems like there's a little bit of a resurgence, but so far, at least in the NFL world, things are kind of going the right way, which is a good thing. The league said today that there are 90%, almost 90%.
Don't misstat that.
I know, I got to get that right. Nearly 88% of players have had at least one shot of a COVID-19 vaccine,
awesome.
Which the numbers have risen dramatically since the memo came out last week.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a surprise to that. They're making it pretty clear you can't mandate it, but we're going to make your life pretty difficult if you don't have that shot. That seems to be the way it's going. But yeah, there is a bit of a resurgence, and I kind of feel like it's just a feeling out process. We're not used to having 90 guys in this building. There's a lot of people in this building. Everyone's trying to stay safe. So I get there's going to be a couple weeks of just trying to figure it out. What's the best practice?
You said it. There are a lot of people in this building. That's for sure. A lot of coaches on this staff, one of the largest in the league, a lot of support staff and camp interns and just a lot of folks. And the first couple days are just a feeling out just to see who goes where and when and the process of doing that in the building. Now to the football part of this thing. And one of the things I noticed the first day was, and I think we've talked about this, was Urban Meyer was the first person out on the field yesterday and today, in fact, from the football side of things. Takes a long walk around, seemingly just kind of getting focused and ready to go in his first NFL training camp. I can guarantee you that he has been fired up and ready for this moment since he signed that piece of paper with Shad Khan back in January.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you knew that he was getting anxious for it to be real. You kind of sensed that in OTAs and minicamp. He kept saying, okay, well, wait for training camp. Yeah. But I also feel like he's now getting closer to almost being anxious for the pads to come on. He kept mentioning that press coverage and how that's an obstacle right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think we're really excited to see what Urban Meyer is like right now. But when the pads go on, I think it's going to be a whole different coach.
Yeah, the heat will intensify. It's already hot as it is out there, but then you throw in contact and pads and, offensive line versus defensive line and a little more contact. I think that's what it's about. He'll crank up the intensity to see who can handle it. And that's the one thing, pressure, as they say, bust pipes or makes diamonds, right?
Yeah, today was brutal. Today was really hot out there. I cracked under the pressure. I couldn't handle it.
Really?
I was complaining. Yeah.
I will say my phone today during the press conferences after practice stopped working because it was so hot. It said you have to cool your phone down. It just
We
went
can't
away.
work under these conditions.
Well, we're going to have to. Guess what? They're not going in. This is the state of Florida, Ashlyn. This is how it works.
I'm still not used to it.
Around here. Trevor Lawrence, yesterday it was Gardner Minshew getting a lot of the number one reps.
Yep.
And Urban Meyer said they're going to rotate that around a little bit today. Well, Gardner looked good yesterday. Then today, Trevor Lawrence goes out with the ones and does what Trevor Lawrence was advertised to do. It was exceptional.
He had a heck of a day, and I catch myself because you get excited. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see, and it made it even better that fans were out there and saw it for the first time. And I try to remind myself that, one, he is with the ones, and two, there's no press coverage. So you have to kind of keep your opinions.
Are you doubting?
I'm not doubting at all. I'm
Sounds
just
like you're
saying it's very easy to applaud the quarterback when he's with the first team. So I want to see a little more consistency. I want to see it happen days and days and days in a row. But he looked fantastic today, and I think what was most promising is he looked so much better than he did just yesterday. I mean, the quickness, the release, the decision-making, the confidence in the pocket, way better than yesterday, and that was already pretty good yesterday.
There's poise there with him.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing phases the guy, it feels like.
Mhm.
You know, we haven't seen it yet. Now, it's a great point that, he has poise in the pocket because there's not a team with another colored jersey coming after him yet.
Right.
Like, once the preseason comes around and there's live bullets flying at you, that you'll see how you respond in that moment.
Yeah, I was talking, I wrote that for John's story on Jaguars.com, and he came up to my desk, and he's like, what, you don't like Trevor? I was like, what? No, don't start this rumor. I'm just saying, let's see it consistently happen before. It's like Walker Little, where we're putting Walker Little in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, well, that's what we've been saying is Walker Little is that good that you might as well just pave his way to Canton. I'm just saying, pump the brakes a little.
Tap the brakes. That's Ashlyn Sullivan, team reporter, Jaguars.com. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with you. We've discussed the quarterbacks, and he's got to have somebody to throw to, and this that would help.
Key.
That would help. Marvin Jones is here in free agency. He's looked very good in the first couple days of camp. Just his ability to move. He's had really 2 good seasons in a row in Detroit. And now it's season number 9 for him. He's a salty veteran and has been at this for a long time. And you can tell, the way he goes about his business. But that also, talking to Colin Johnson the other day at Media Day, it kind of rubs off on a younger player like that, the work ethic and the way you go about business. I'm sure DJ Chark, even in his 4th year, is leaning on Marvin Jones for certain things, it feels like.
Yeah, I think you really needed that because you look at last year with DJ Chark, and he did have Chris Connolly. But bringing Marvin Jones in, I think there was a lot of pressure on DJ Chark to be that leader last year. And that's a lot to put on a guy that's still relatively young in his career. So this is a no-brainer that this is the prime example of how you stay long in the league, healthy, make the money you want to make. Marvin Jones has paved his way for a great career, and now he has all these young guys to bring up. And it just seems like he's having fun out there, too. Just seems like it's almost like a resurgence, and he's like the new young guy. It's working out perfect, that wide receiver room. You need certain dynamics, and you're checking boxes when you look at all these guys.
He said he was the oldest guy on the team until Tim Tebow came along.
Right,
He was the same
helped him
age.
out.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty ahead on Jaguars Happy Hour. More with Ashlyn Sullivan. When we come back, we'll flip it around to the defensive side and get your thoughts.
Deal.
How about that?
I'll be here.
I will also. Maybe we'll be back after the break. A little later at the bottom of the hour, it's John Oehser, Jaguars.com senior writer. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight.
Liftoff.
When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
At VyStar, we believe in better. Better convenience. So members can bank any way they want, whether it's at a branch, on a mobile device, or at one of more than 20,000 surcharge-free ATMs across North America. Because we believe that people have better things to do with their time. If you believe that convenience is better, join VyStar. Visit VyStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe. One taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now. Bucket dunking now, namasteing now. Popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
First off, just building a relationship, but also getting used to his passes, him getting used to the way that we run routes, because everybody run routes differently. Working on timing, seeing the routes that we like the best, passes that he liked the best, seeing what he needs to work on, what we need to work on. So it's pretty good, and plus, in the off season, you need to just run, stay in shape. So it was good for a lot of different reasons.
My apologies, DJ Chark, for the interruption. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jeff Logan will be back with us next week. Ashlyn Sullivan with us this afternoon, team reporter, Jaguars.com. Good to hear DJ Chark in good spirits and, a little heavier now, learning how to play with that. As we wrap up our offensive talk here, I'm excited to see what DJ can do with those other players around him. Who opens up who on the offensive scheme? Because it's going to be tough to cover all these guys if they're all playing at a high level.
Right, and I think we have this argument at times of who's going to be the number one guy. And every team has to have a number one receiver. It only makes sense. And I really can't figure it out right now. And I think you don't have to figure it out. And I think Trevor Lawrence will make it a little easier of who he picks he most is comfortable with. But just this array of talent with the wide receiver, it feels like it's changed so quickly. It's a great problem to have. And I talk about, okay, well, it has to be Marvin Jones or DJ Chark. They have to be the one. But then I think maybe they don't. What about Laviska Shenault? He had one of the best days I've seen at practice today. Why can't it be him? So I don't think that answer or that question is going to be answered anytime soon.
Like my old great Uncle Howard used to say, sometimes I think, other times I just don't know.
All right.
And we don't know yet.
Put that on an index card.
We'll get there at some point. Let's speaking about not knowing, the defense has a lot of new faces on it. Let's start up front, and we won't see a lot of the results of their labor, until pads go on the defensive line, because they're not pushing anything around yet. They can run around a tackle right now, but the tackle can't touch them yet. There's no contact going on. There's a lot of new faces on the interior there we're curious about. But you know what Josh Allen's going to be if he can just stay healthy. We're going to hear we heard from him earlier this week, in fact. He seems like he's coming off that knee fine. Mm-hmm. But if he can play to that Pro Bowl level, he's a guy that can really carry this defense from the front of that the front line of that defense. That's where it starts, is the defensive line for Urban Meyer.
Yeah, and you'd love to see him have a big year. I mean, one, just because he's an all-around good guy, and it just seems like he's due for it. But I will say the criticism of him was a little unfair, because you look at this team's record, and it was nearly impossible for him to get the sack numbers that he wanted to get last season. So to judge this defensive line right now, you got to see how they're able to play with a lead, and that's where they're really going to be successful. Yes, the new faces, you're excited to see how they mesh, but Josh Allen, you want to see that he has a big year in store for him.
Jahad Ward, new guy.
Yeah.
Kenny Randall, he's a rookie, a new guy. I'm going down the list. Jordan Smith, rookie, new guy. Daniel Ross, I think, has been around here. Aaron Patrick is a new guy, or a first-year player. Roy Robertson-Harris, Jay Tufele, Malcolm Brown. I mean, that's a lot of new guys.
There's a lot of trend here, yeah.
A lot of tackles, too. A lot of interior guys that are new.
That's exactly what you needed, though. Guys that just took up more space. Don't make it more difficult, just guys that take up space in the interior of the line.
We're going to hear from Myles Jack a little bit later. Caught up with him earlier this week, and, it's year 6 for him somehow. This is crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that at all.
Time has flown for Myles Jack. He's in his second contract, and that's a fascinating part of this defense, how they utilize him. And it'll be a middle linebacker. If they use him more 3-4 things, how do they move him around? Last year he was successful in a lot of ways because he had space to run around, and he has that ability to do that. And from sideline to sideline, he can really turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
How does Joe Cullen utilize him is a big question. We won't really find out until the regular season.
They don't
gets
tell
here.
us these things.
And they won't even give out a lot of that in the preseason.
No,
they're not
you'd
going to
hope
show
not.
all their cards.
Yeah.
So we won't find this out until, September. But the way he plays this year could be a big piece of what this defense does.
Yeah, one of the first things when we had the chance to finally talk to Joe Cullen and we started asking about players, I think he'd only been here about a week or two, and he immediately brought up Myles Jack and said, I can't wait to get to know this guy, figure out how he's going to work. I mean, he only watched a couple days of film, and he was able to see the athletic ability of Myles Jack. So I trust that was probably one of the very first things he worked on, and he is going to find the perfect role for him because that was something that stood out immediately to Joe Cullen.
Who of the new secondary guys, and there are many.
There are.
You need both hands to count them, I think. So which of the new secondary guys would you say are you most excited about, A, seeing on the field, B, listening to at the podium? There's a lot of personality back there.
I thought Rayshawn Jenkins was great today. That's just overall just a guy that he's almost like a Jared Wilson type that you can count on and accountable, has been there, done that.
Mr. Reliable.
Yeah, has years in the NFL, and I think the secondary needed that. You also needed a guy to push the safeties, and trying to predict who the starting safeties are right now is pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I was sold on Jared Wilson. But then you have Daniel Thomas, who's definitely, when he has the chances, makes the most of them.
Second-year player from Auburn.
Right. Yep. And then Andre Sisco, if he's healthy, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, why not him?
Ball hawk.
Yeah, and a playmaker, and exactly that's the reason they drafted him. And that's kind of a unique role that they don't have right now. So I don't know right now what the safeties are going to look like, but that's a good problem to have.
I know Shaq Griffin's fun on the microphone, too, now.
Oh, my gosh, he is, yeah. Like
a
walking soundbite, we say in TV
really
terms.
He really is.
Yeah.
He spoke yesterday, and the full archive is available on Jaguars.com. But he's paid a lot of money to come here. And the theory is he'll be opposite of C.J. Henderson, who's on the COVID-19 list. We have not seen him in camp yet so far here in 2021. Then you bring in Tyson Campbell in the draft as well, who could play, in theory, that slot corner, the nickel corner spot. So, 4 out of the 5 secondary guys could be new to the team this year.
Yeah, and you feel good about the depth, which is a great problem to have. The Trey Herndons, the Sidney Jones.
Yeah, we forget about Trey Herndon, who's playing at a pretty high level.
Yeah, you need guys like
here,
that.
right?
You need guys like that on your team. So for a position that you would have said was one of the weakest on the team last year, all of a sudden you feel pretty good about. Now you're talking about the depth at cornerback and safety.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have that depth. We have seen it where we haven't seen that depth around here.
We have.
Don't want to see any more of that. Coming up, we've got, let's see, tomorrow, Jaguars Reporters is on the schedule, a podcast on the Jaguars official podcast network. That's you. That's John Ozier, who's coming up here in a few minutes. That's
I can't wait.
Brian Sexton and yours truly. We kind of recap what's going on around the Jaguars. You can catch that at some point tomorrow afternoon. Ashlyn, you're doing some writing. We are all doing some writing on the website these days. You're doing a little more than most.
Yeah, I kind of just was thrown into it. I'm like, I'm going to figure this out. And put some periods here and commas here. And
is that how it works?
And John Ozier says, man, I'm pretty good. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but you should check it out on Jaguars.com.
Okay, we will. That's coming up on Jaguars.com. We've got camp observations each and every day of camp as well. And you'll have television duties during the regular season also.
Can't come soon enough.
It's coming quick. Ashlyn Sullivan, Twitter handle?
At Ashlyn R. Sullivan.
Give her a follow, and thanks for coming on, Ashlyn. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ashlyn
John's
Sullivan.
shaking his head in disappointment
Well,
from
he
afar.
can come do this next as well. That's Ashlyn Sullivan, team reporter, Jaguars.com. Coming up, John Ozier, senior writer from Jaguars.com, and this is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That sound is every driver's worst fear. How much will the repairs cost? Is it your engine, your transmission, or worse? A car breakdown could cost you thousands to repair, but not if you have CarShield. CarShield administrators pay your claims directly to the mechanic or dealer of your choice, saving you time and money. Call CarShield today before your next breakdown. Call 800-471-1223, 800-471-1223.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the print services you need for your business. Need large banners and signs for your next promotional event? How about vehicle wraps to advertise your company fleet? Find out for yourself how Kessler Creative can help you stand out from the competition with eye-catching designs that are sure to impress your customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida, results-driven marketing, and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Yeah, they're good. We did a conditioning test. Everybody passed it. It wasn't overly difficult, but and my message back in whenever that was June is, if I'm worried about conditioning tests, we really don't need to practice much because we're going to get our ass kicked in. So they were good.
That's head coach Urban Meyer earlier this week on the conditioning of the football team coming back off the 5 weeks away. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour for the first time in the 2021 season. Well, not quite the season. Training camp. Preseason's coming up, and then the regular season on the Jaguars Radio Network. JP Shadrick with you. Jeff Lageman will be back with us next week. Our thanks to Ashlyn Sullivan for joining us a moment ago, Jaguars.com team reporter. And a little later, we'll hear from Myles Jack, a conversation from earlier this week with the Jaguars linebacker. And now, speaking of well-conditioned, it's senior writer John Ogier from Jaguars.com joining us here on the show. And, John, it's good to see you, bud. What's up?
How good was that quote from Irvin?
That's great, right?
That was fantastic. It was almost as good as a couple minutes earlier when he said, the world is full of excuses right now. Outstanding.
He could turn it on occasionally and just hit you with one.
There's yet to be a press conference where he hasn't. And again, I'll confess, it's still been a little strange, around here at JP, because it's still been a little separate because of COVID. Everything's sort of,
Yep.
So I have not gotten a chance to get to know Urban as well as I would like, but know him a little bit. And as each week goes past, that was good. That was good stuff.
I would think, going back to the college days, right? Like Steve Spurrier was probably really good at that kind of thing. He could hit you all press conference
the dog,
long.
as we used to call him.
Right?
He was a different guy in terms of being fun to cover.
Everything.
I only was able to cover Steve a couple of years, 93, 94, and then the Jags started, and I was off to that.
Yeah.
For writers who covered Spurrier, he was the glory days.
Soundbite machine. That's what I meant.
But my impression is Urban, we have talked on this show over and over and over again, JP, or on different shows we've been on, the perception of Urban in terms of helpfulness, candidness with the media, whatever all that means. I don't know how much he likes it, but he's been very transparent, coverable, if you will, meaning when he speaks, you don't doubt what he says, and there's truth behind it, and there's directness behind it. I think fans, if his idea is to get his point, his message across, and tell fans what's going on with the Jags, he's been very good at that. So, not that he cares about this, but he's enjoyable to cover.
Yes.
I don't think he goes to sleep very often going, man, I wonder if John's having a good time covering this.
Right.
But it's entertaining and it's interesting.
It is. Pretty much every time out so far. And no matter the subject matter, there's been a lot of positive subject matter, but a few items that have not been so positive in this offseason, and he's handled both, at least in the public setting, with grace, which is great so far.
Well, in the NFL, it's tough as a coach in the NFL if you spend every press conference sort of trying to dance around things and hiding it, because it's covered so much and you're there every day. You have to be transparent. It's easier to be transparent, and I've gotten the impression off every press conference that he's as honest as any NFL coach is going to be in front of the media.
Now it gets down to the football side of things, and we'll see how that goes, when things start happening in the regular season, of course, but that's a conversation for another time, and there are football things happening. We were talking to Ashland a moment ago, John, and Trevor Lawrence is on the practice field, and today fans got their first glimpse of him in a Jaguars uniform in person. Yesterday's practice was not open to the public. Today he put on a show, I thought. But is it as much of a show as we think, or is that just Trevor being Trevor? I think it's a little, we might find out later down the line that's just who he is.
The sample size is small. It was, 6 practices in the offseason and now 2 now.
Yeah.
So, 8 against what is essentially a defense now where the defenders today are like trying not to touch the ball.
Yeah.
So there's that. So you have to couch it a little bit, but he looks really, really good. And doing things in terms of if it was just completing passes with the guys not really covering, you would think, okay, well, whatever. But the vision, the accuracy, the velocity, the ball looks different coming out of his hands than it does any quarterback I've seen in NFL practices, probably including Peyton. I mean,
and you were with the Colts, right?
I was with the Colts 10 years, and
right.
I'm not going to compare Trevor Lawrence to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's a top 5, maybe top 2 or 3 of all time. I don't know what the number is, but when you talk about it, he's in the conversation. But physical talent, arm strength, velocity, the way the ball comes out of his hand. It's been 10 years since I covered Peyton, so I don't have a direct analogy to it. But I don't recall watching Peyton in practice and thinking, wow, this kid really throws the ball. I mean, his was mental. He was a good arm. He knew everything. He was so mentally much better than everybody else that he was there. This kid's impressive when he throws the football, and you are now seeing it consistently in practice. There are wow throws in every period. There was one to Marvin Jones for a touchdown today, 40 yards. But that wasn't the best one. The best one to me was ball 70 yards in the air, dead on to Marvin Jones. He just barely dropped it. And I was at the other end of the field on this one, JP, and I thought he was going to his left on the pass. And all of a sudden, a quick turn of the hips, and he's throwing a bomb to Marvin Jones that it's gotten to the point where when he throws deep, you're surprised when it's not.
Well, it's not completed, right?
And when it's not directly dropped over the defender's hands. Yeah. And on these, bear in mind, we're talking about the defenders backing off. On these, the defenders aren't backing off. They're trying to go get the ball. It's impressive. I don't want to overplay it, but you know me, JP. On rookies 2 days into camp, I'm usually not doing cartwheels. This is impressive stuff.
It's a good thing you're well-conditioned doing those cartwheels. We'll come back in a moment.
I am well-conditioned.
We'll hear from Johnny O a little bit more. Flip it around on the defensive side. A couple of key other standouts in training camp so far. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. members-only jackets. Undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word: iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35% off on all iconic racer jackets. Members only. When you put it on, something happens.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour for the first time on the Jaguars Radio Network in the 2021 campaign. JP Shadrick with you. Jeff Lageman back with us next week. Senior writer, Jaguars.com. John Ogier joining us now for those new to the Jaguars organization. And I'm sure there are a lot of new fans that have come on board, John, this year. John was an original Jaguars beat writer for the Florida Times-Union newspaper here in Jacksonville in 1994, 5? First season.
I covered Florida 93, 94, and then came over to the Jags. I guess the first thing I did was the expansion draft that year.
Got it.
Pete Prisco, now with CBS Sports, and myself covered them from that day until Pete left in late 2000, and then I did the beat for a little while, and then went to Indianapolis.
You went to Indy, and you came back in 2011 to join the Jaguars organization.
And it has been nothing but just winning since.
Yeah.
A lot of people blame me for that, by the way.
Is it your fault?
Yeah. It's,
okay.
No, but it's
better you than me.
Certainly, those years have made what's going on now very exciting, and it gives you perspective. It's not easy to generate excitement in this league. It's not easy to win, and it takes hard work to do it. And it feels like they are coming out of that phase now. So we'll see.
The Jaguars, we'll kind of stay away from the defense for now because it is a non-contact period. They're playing off coverage. There's not a lot you can see on the defensive line yet. Those conversations will come in the weeks ahead once the pads go on. But you can see some of the skill guys for this Jaguars team. Now, they returned DJ Chark on the outside. Laviska Shenault's going into his second year. You got James Robinson, who went over 1,000 yards rushing a season ago, and he said he feels faster than he was last year. Mm-hmm. That's a good step in the right direction. And then you add a guy like Marvin Jones, who you mentioned earlier, made a nice touchdown catch today. Another deep ball, nearly brought one in. A veteran who's been at it for 9 years now in the NFL. And then you bring in Travis Etienne at running back, just a couple of additions on the offensive side, not to mention any of the others. But those are some of the real standouts. And if those guys, what is the Darrell Bevel today, listening to him discuss this offense, he's not going to give you a lot right now of how it's really going to look. But this team could be all over the field. I mean, they could be sideline to sideline, wide receivers in motion and running backs out wide. I mean, that was the idea with Travis Etienne. That's just one example. This with Trevor pulling the trigger on all this, the sky's the limit.
Well, all off season, you thought, what could the wide receivers be? And I think the wide receiver situation felt to me like this: people close to the team were really excited about it because you saw flashes of what Shenault could be last year. You saw what DJ Chark could be in 2019, and then Marvin Jones is an established entity. You wonder with Marvin Jones, 10-year guy coming in, what he's going to be. First 2 days of training camp, if anybody aside Trevor has stood out to me, it's been Marvin Jones. just because you can see with his feet, you can see with his ability to get open, it's not a fluke when he's open. He looks like an experienced guy who still has the quickness to get open, still has the savvy to get open. He has been impressive. I think that the wide receiver core looks like it has guys with the skills for Lawrence to use them, meaning I don't know if Laviska Shenault's going to be a 1,500-yard receiver Pro Bowl guy. It's hard to predict that. But in practice the last few days, he has this ability to get open. He has the strength. It looks like he is getting open with routes and with speed and quickness. You knew he was physical.
Yeah.
He looks like he's adding that. It looks like there are elements of these guys that Trevor Lawrence will be able to use and that Bev will be able to use. A DJ Chark, I don't know that he's Mr. Deep guy all the time, but what he was really good at in 19, I thought, were 10 to 15 yards downfield and then a crossing route where he snatches the ball out of the air. That's a special skill in this league.
Mm-hmm.
It feels to me like he can use that. Trevor hit him on one of those today.
If he has the physicality to that at the line,
no doubt.
You're adding 8 to 10 pounds of muscle and you're able to get open a little quicker or go up and go into traffic and get that changes a lot.
I think Urban was on to something when he went to DJ Chark, said get more physical. The whole wide receiver core to me with Laviska and Shenault now looks like a unit that can be something they can use. Overall, talking about the physical skill players on offense, ETN today looked to me like you saw why he was drafted where he was.
He's got a burst to him. That is a real explosive burst, and when he's able to fully open it up, you can tell why he's what he was at Clemson.
Yeah, somebody asked me today, is he a guy who can carry the ball 25 times a game? I don't know with his size, but I also don't really know if – I'm not sure Urban and Darrell Bevel are sitting down in the hall worrying whether he can do that. I don't think that's really what they want him to be.
Well, he said that Bevel said it today. We know all these guys can run the football.
Right.
They've done it at a high level in the NFL or in college. Like, it's the other things around it, too.
ETN was drafted. There's a misconception about this because people see running back next to his name.
Yeah.
He was drafted to be the explosive impact, score from anywhere guy on the field that Urban believes this offense needs. Today, if you watched him 4, 5, 6 different times, it was easy to see why they saw that in him.
It's a good thing for this Jaguars offense, and we've only just begun. Another open training camp tomorrow, another on Saturday, and they're off Sunday next week. The pads go on Tuesday, and then 3 open practices at the end of the week. John, your writing available every day on Jaguars.com.
Indeed it is.
And you'll be on plenty of these shows and podcasts throughout the year.
I'm looking forward. I mean, it's here. It's ready. And for fans who haven't gotten down, who didn't get today, it's fun watching this team right now practice. It's fun seeing what these possibilities might be. And it's fun watching that quarterback right now.
At John Oehser, Oehser, the spelling of the last name on Twitter.
You got it right. Some people don't get it right.
I've known you for a while. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.
John Oehser, senior writer, Jaguars.com. We're back in a moment. We'll hear from Myles Jack, Jaguars linebacker from earlier this week, and get his thoughts on how to bounce back from 1-15. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa Debit Card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar?
Great job, honey!
Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight.
Liftoff.
When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk. Checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk. Checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Welcome back, Jaguars Happy Hour for the first time in the 2021 season on the Jaguars Radio Network. Glad you're along with us this afternoon. JP Shadrick with you. Jeff Lageman will be back with us very soon. Our thanks to Ashlyn Sullivan, Jaguars team reporter for Jaguars.com, and Jaguars senior writer John Ogier. They both joined us a moment ago. Let's hear from Jaguars linebacker Myles Jack. It's year number 6 for him. He's in his second contract. He was part of this 1-15 team a year ago. We discussed that and much more with Myles.
When you bring a new coaching staff in, it's going to be a new coach. And what Coach Meyer has tried to establish, it's been fun coming in the building every day and getting ready to work. So we're excited, man. He's invested a lot in us, and he's put a lot of rejuvenation stations in for us so that way we can take care of ourselves. It's a fun environment, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Take us through your offseason. How different of a football player is Myles Jack at the start of this training camp as opposed to maybe last year or in years past? What have you done to improve?
I really just figured out my body and things that work and things that don't work, kind of with diet and nutrition and just exercise, just working out every day. I've just kind of established this regime where I'm going to do something every single day. So it's either lifting, running, or doing both, or trying to figure out something, cycling, getting on the Peloton. Shout out to them. So I've just been doing something every single day, and I feel like I'm in great shape and just trying not to burn out before I get here. But I feel like I'm ready to go, and I'm super excited to get ready.
Peloton a new addition for you?
Yeah, that's a new thing. I get the Peloton with the altitude mask, so I do that, and that gets me right.
1-15 last year, Myles.
Oh, man.
It's a bad taste.
Yeah.
How much does that motivate you?
Yeah, I can't ever go through that again. That's a tough thing, and it's hard walking around wearing Jaguars gear and people bringing up 1-15. So I can't do that again, and that's something I never want to experience ever again. And I'll do whatever I have to do to not go through 1-15 ever again, because that really felt like 0-16, to be honest with you. So. Yeah, no, it's been on my mind every day when I get up to work out. I look at the standings, I look at the rankings, and yeah, that hurts, man. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that.
I don't think anybody wants to do that again. That's Myles Jack, Jaguars linebacker. We caught up on internal media day back on Tuesday, right before training camp, as he enters a big year for this Jaguars organization. And for Myles Jack, it is season number 6 for the former second-round pick out of UCLA, who's had some really big moments for this organization, certainly in the 2017 season and in the postseason that year. He's still not down, and we'll see what the future holds for Myles and what could be a big role on the defensive side of the ball for him in year number 6. A lot of hope and excitement for this Jaguars team here in 2021. Certainly on the offensive side, we've covered that throughout the evening, but on the defensive side as well. Let's just wait till the pads come on and see what they can really offer here in training camp. Let's come back in a moment. Our final thoughts in our opening show of the 2021 season. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town, with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Hi folks, Frank Franzi here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Summer is the perfect time to update your home. It's the best savings of the year going on right now at Renewal by Anderson of Florida. Get 25% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Find out more at rbafla.com. Renewal by Anderson, the official replacement window and door partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Offer expires August 31st. Restrictions apply. Minimum purchase of 3 windows or patio doors required. License number CGC 1527613.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. Members-only jackets, undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word: iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35% off on all iconic racer jackets. Members only. When you put it on, something happens.
Jaguars Happy Hour continues, and we're inside a week away from the Hella Mega Tour, Saturday, July 31st at TIAA Bank Field, featuring Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer, plus the Interrupters. Tickets at Ticketmaster or HellaMegaTour.com. We've been looking forward to that for a long time. And I want to say hello to all our affiliates along the Jaguars Radio Network for the first time in 18 different markets throughout Florida, South Georgia, even up into South Carolina this year. Here in Jacksonville, of course, Clemson, South Carolina on board this year. Wonder who you're listening for, but glad to have you aboard. Daytona Beach, Fort Myers, and Cape Coral, Florida. Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Gainesville, Jessup, Georgia. Kingsland, Georgia. Lake City and Live Oak. Naples and Bonita Springs. Orlando, Palm Coast, St. Augustine, Savannah, Georgia, along with Hilton Head, South Carolina. Spartanburg, South Carolina. Waycross, Georgia. Tallahassee, Florida. And Panama City. Thank you for being aboard on the Jaguars Radio Network this year. Our thanks to our entire crew, Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, Ashlyn Sullivan, John Ozier. For everyone involved, I'm JP Shadrick, and this has been Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.